even if they overcome it, they're just going out the tournament anyway, so they're not accomplishing anything by winning. Yeah, what, you get your pity win over MIBR and then you go
What if they go
anyway.
on a run?
We go on a run?
That was going to be...
The 0-9 team is gonna go on a run.
Crew didn't win a single match during the VCT Americas season, but when Last Chance Qualifiers rolled around, they looked like a completely different team. So how did Crew go from a last place team to winning LCQ and earning the final spot at Champions? In this video, we're going to find out by looking at plays from their grand final match against Leviathan to really see how Crew's game drastically improved. If you want me to coach and analyze your team for free, sign up on my Discord and consider supporting me on Patreon. In my opinion, Crew have always had decent mid-round calling and smart attack side strats, but something else had been plaguing their attack side. In this round on Split, against C9 in the regular season, Crew take Vents control by sending 4 players mid. They smoke off Mail and push into Vents, which forces Killjoy out and back toward A Heaven. While this is happening, Skye uses her dog to clear ramp, which helps push C9 back even further toward their spawn. Control of Vents enables a strong rotation path between A and B Heaven. This forces C9 to more or less choose a side, and they choose to stack toward B, which was the wrong choice. Crew know they have a good timing because of their control, and they use this timing to split A. Crew are able to kill both players Heaven, and are now in a 4v3 with an open site, but their entire round breaks down when they decide to plant for Heaven and A main when there isn't a single player on Crew in those spots. Their planner dies for free, and then we see 3 solo fights taken to lose the post plant. Crew was up 4v3, which was a result of good strategy, but their post plant was just not good enough. But now against LEV and LCQ, we can see how Crew improved upon their attack side strats, but also fixed their post plant issues. On pistol round against LEV, they work slow control into A ramp using the Viper wall. When Jet jiggle peeks A main, he gets the info that Crew are heavy A side and backs off. Crew aggressively push up ramp and all spam through the common angles, which not only pushes Jet back to get healed, but forces Raze into terrible rotation pathing. Raze has to fall back through Vents, into mid, and back into B Heaven just to get back to her spawn. While this is all happening, Crew silently work through Vents and into B Heaven. When they're seen by Viper, Crew use more spam to force her back as well. Now they have full control of this amazing rotation path again, which allows them to work between A Heaven and B Heaven quickly, while defenders can only rotate between their spawn, just like we saw in the C9 game. You can see how LEV moved their Raze toward B Heaven while Crew sneak back to A, and now have a perfect execute timing. Crew use smokes to stall the rotators while they swarm the only 2 players on site. And you can see how this all mattered when Raze makes it to screens right as both his teammates die on site and has no chance to help them. Finally, the bomb gets planted in a reasonable spot this time, and despite the 5v3 advantage, which could warrant a bit of trolling, Crew are extremely disciplined and all play together on site.
Risks were necessary really to try and turn the fate of this round, and it doesn't go his way.
A 2v5 that looks completely unwinnable here, with Nags having his position up towards Heaven. But Mazzino and King are going to do what they can.
Needs a freebie here with Melter being low enough snake bite. There's Kesner going down, but yeah, they all topple just like that. The player advantage being a little bit too...
Now I want to take a look at how Crew built on top of their Vents control strategy on pistol to win the next couple rounds. On round 3, Crew are planning to take control of mid again, while LEV are thinking they need to be a little more aggressive for control so they can avoid a similar situation on pistol round. There's an attempt to fight mid, but Crew patiently use utility to clear Jet out of Vents. Crew work up mid and now have control of the same rotation path between A and B Heaven again, like they did in pistol round. They also know that LEV have no meaningful information into A main or B main since their controllers have been holding them for pushes. LEV flash A main for info, and as soon as Melser gets hit by it, he starts to work back toward B, knowing that the situation looks very similar to another A hit with control events. Let's take a minute to appreciate Melser's diligence here. Due to the sound circles, only an enemy playing in these specific spots will hear Melser running at this point. Even though the chance is low, Meltzer makes sure to walk until there's absolutely no chance that Lev can hear him. Raze was actually playing in one of these spots, and this extra bit of discipline finalizes the A pressure. Lev can be seen stacked toward A with 3 members, while the entirety of Crew are working toward B. Crew know that this timing is exactly when Lev will look for info, and are completely prepared for the swing from Viper. Nagza is super aware of this play to use the smoke to isolate B main, and he even gets a free kill on Astra. Now B site is completely open. Lev have to immediately call a save because they were so out of position due to the fake pressure on A, and Crew win their bonus round. In the next round, we can see Lev attempt some adjustments to their game plan. They immediately take control of B main so they can set up the judge and have a bit more information late into the round. They also move the Viper orb from B heaven into mid to try and disrupt Crew's game plan to take vents and mail. Crew also makes some cool adjustments like placing the chamber trip to check if Lev have info of A main, instead of investing a player there to watch it like in the last round. This is a really smart adjustment, since Lev can no longer rely on their flash for info as they were tricked by it last round. This allows Nagzet to join his team in mid a bit earlier than normal. Lev shows some resistance in mid, which slows down Crew, and a massive 1v1 from Meltzer earns them B main control. This pressure in B main helps Crew secure the same rotation path in mid, between B heaven and A heaven, albeit later into the round. Crew is enabled to make strong mid-round rotations now, and they pressure B heaven while their chamber walks into A heaven through ropes. Now watch how Lev have their ankles broken for a 3rd time. Now Crew can easily take A when there is only 1 player left on site, and they have control of heaven to stop the rotations. Crew get the bomb down and play post-plant well, showing that they really fixed this major weakness. It's really smart by them here to try and wrap one side together so they can't get flank timing, and they're able to close out the round. In this last sequence of rounds on Split, Crew showed us that they really have everything they need to win convincing rounds on attack. They had a strong game plan to bait rotations with vent and mail control, they had some creative variations to gain that control while holding the mains, and they had really strong mid-round calling to make the right decision and capitalize on the timings that they created. Split was actually Crew's worst map during the regular season, as they had a 0-5 record, but now they might look like one of the strongest Split teams in the world. Another map we previously saw Crew struggle on was Lotus. Lotus was another map that Crew played a couple times during VCT Americas. Let's take a look at their Sentinels match and break down some improvements they made to their defensive half. In this pistol round, we can see that Crew liked going for the heavy pushes on defense. 4 members of Crew push A main together while Sentinels decide to slowly take mound control. Although there's absolutely no noise near A, Crew still have 3 members hang around A main, not collecting any further info or rotating to other parts of the map. This leads to a really strong C hit for Sentinels, and they use the space they're given to push into defender spawn and kill Viper, who had no info or support the entire round. A similar problem occurs on round 20, where Crew set up 4 members near A with the AWP, and Killjoy utility to defend A as well. But without any retake ults and an AWP, planning for a C retake is a really poor decision. This round is basically given to Sentinels for free. We can see another mistake from Crew on round 15, which was their first gun round of the half. Crew take control of A main, and this time have some people quickly rotate since there isn't any indication that Sentinels are near A. But simultaneously, we see Viper push mound by herself and take a bad 1-for-1 trade, giving up the site before her team can come help at all. These two problems are related, as opposite sides of the map need to be able to work off of each other like a game of tug of war. Your strong side needs to create some pressure, while your weak side has to absorb that enemy pressure, long enough for your rotators to help out. We can see that Crew really struggled with this in the past, which created super volatile and uncontrollable situations, which you never want on defense. Again, Crew's general game plan did not really change, but by LCQ finals they fixed many of their initial problems. Against Leviathan, we still saw these stacked pushes very often from them in A main. In round 7, they set up for the stacked push into A main just like they did against Sentinels, but they do something noticeably different this time. Did you catch that? The difference this time was that instead of just sitting around outside of A main with 3 members for way too long, they actually pushed into A main to create some pressure and gather info. In other rounds against LEV, Crew look for the fast rotate once A main is cleared, and this allows them to make it in time and help the weaker sites, which is another thing that they got better at since their Sentinels matchup. In round 9, we can see Crew set up again for the A main push, but quickly move toward B once A main is cleared, and they make it just in time to help defend the B push.
Double satchel, leading it in, Judge in his hands, but fully blinded up, Boombot's there! And there's certainly damage done, but Davies, what a response! My way! Just ridiculous!
Naturally, we also saw an improvement to Crew's retakes on Lotus. If you remember, I showed you this round against Sentinels, where Crew decided to 4-stack A with an AWP and play full retake C, but they didn't account for the Viper ult, and also didn't have any ults of their own to help with the retake. But this time around against LEV, Crew balanced pressure much better, so naturally your retakes are going to be stronger. And let me show you what I mean by this. On round 8, we can see Crew do their A main push again, but quickly rotate when nothing is there. LEV know they need to beat this timing since Crew are hot on their tails, so they pop fast onto C. Even though Crew don't necessarily make the fight on time, because they opened the door and were in position to pressure quickly, LEV could not secure the normal strong plant for Mound. This forces Crew to plant default, which ultimately contributes to Crew winning the retake when they take site. A lot of good things naturally happen when you're balancing pressure across the map, and Crew have clearly shown that they're experts at that now. It's honestly insane to see a run like this going from a team in dead last to an incredibly promising seed for Americas at Champions. It's hard not to love a massive underdog team like Crew, and every bit of their run is deserved, and certainly not luck as they had to win 2 best of 5s. I'm really excited to see what they can do at Champions this year, and I'll leave off with this clip of Melser popping off for me after 3K.
Good trade, living up to my name.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Holy
Oh my god, fucking bro, you are so good,
fuck.
homie.
Nice. Remember that I offer free team coaching live on my Discord, and also consider supporting me on Patreon, which helps me out a lot. Thanks again for watching.